Happy birthday! It's us, your Hack the Dino friends. We're here to bring friendship and love and hugs and puppies.
Little bit of judgment.
I am the Daydream Believer and the Homecoming Queen, Ben Rosenthal, and I am joined here on the past, present, and future of gaming news brought to you by Hack the Dino by my wonderful his
wonderful co-host, the enabler, Floppy Starrick.
Wow, you're just jumping right in now, aren't you?
Mate, you were about to bite your own tongue off.
Anto is also here. Anto, you're being the keys.
Indeed, the cheese behind the keys again.
So tell us about that cheese. Why are you behind the keys, and why don't you wipe your fingers, you dirty boy?
I do wipe my fingers, and I don't eat cheese because I'm vegan. So screw you.
No, you eat mock cheese. What's that called?
It's not cheese.
Not cheese. Mock cheese.
Not cheese. Yeah, I guess it works.
It's called. No, I'm not going to say that.
Substitute.
Anyway, we have got a really interesting show for you. Interesting because Street Fighter 6 was announced during the week with a big countdown, which we're going to get into a bit later on. And there's a little bit of controversy. I don't know if you've heard about any of that, Floppy, but it's...
Are we talking about the logo?
Yeah, we'll get into it a bit later on.
I feel like I could have done that. Maybe one of my kids.
We've also got other stuff to talk about as well with our words. But first, Anto... Hello.
Hello.
What have you been playing lately?
Honestly, not a huge amount. I started up... Well, I didn't start up. I continued my save from the first Horizon, Zero Dawn.
Ooh, lovely.
Why is that? Why are you playing Horizon? Why are you delving into Horizon?
Because he should have done it years ago.
Because I should have done it years ago, and I got distracted by Breath of the Wild, like most of the rest of the world.
Was there a reason you weren't enjoying it as much the first time round?
Yeah, as I was telling you in the car on the way here, I, for some reason, started my original run on hard mode.
Good.
No.
Always go baby mode.
Now I've dropped it down to easy. I'm having a way better time with it.
We need shirts, like, just says Hack the Dino. Always go baby mode. And, like,
maybe we'll rephrase it. Baby ass, baby mode. No, don't write baby ass.
What else, Anto?
Not a whole lot. Final Fantasy 14, because I'm living the MMO player life. I started Final Fantasy 9 again with Coda. And beyond that, sleeping, game hunting when I'm awake. And that's pretty much it.
Fun times. But you've got something rather special coming up in the next couple of days, don't you?
Special for you and special for all of us, actually.
It's pretty special for the show in general. We've been given a review code for Elden Ring.
Our first review code.
First review code for the show. So
that's it. We made it. We're famous.
Yeah, that's it. We've made a dent, finally.
So, Anto, I believe you're going to be playing it through and recording 1 minute thoughts and... theories and gameplay and putting it up on our TikTok, which is over at Hack the Dino.
We have a TikTok?
It's not just going to be me screaming, God, why? I promise.
I'm sure it'll be wonderful. So head on over to TikTok and follow us there. Or just go to hackthedino.com and press all the buttons.
It was lovely of Phil Spencer to drop that off personally as well. It was great. Thank you.
He was going to stick around, but, had stuff to do.
He's a busy man.
Like baby modes. Ooh. I've been keeping on with my Arceus playthrough, and I'm just shiny hunting.
Is that it?
I'm just shiny hunting. It's so much fun.
You finished the whole game?
No, I haven't. I rolled credits. I haven't finished the post game yet.
So have you finished your Pokedex?
No. And that's what I mean. Like I'm up to Cresselia, where I have to go and catch a Cresselia.
I don't know what that means.
It's the pink moonbeam Pokemon.
Oh, is that the legend thing?
Yeah, one of them. So I'm up to catching all the legendaries and the mythicals.
How many are there?
Oh, that game.
Isn't there like one in each game?
No. Oh, gosh, no.
Is there normally one in each game?
No, there's always more than one. So just going around shiny hunting. So far, I've caught like a Chimchar the other night. I had a full-on Starly pop up the other night, which is really, really cool. Actually, with the Starly, I was flying over and I heard it go bring and saw it pop up. But then I also saw, after you roll credits on the game, there's some NPCs, bad guy NPCs, that'll just pop up out of nowhere and challenge you. And I've seen YouTube clips of people getting shinies and going for it, and then they get pulled into a cutscene with this NPC and they lose the shiny.
Wrong.
And I saw the NPC appear, and the shiny appeared right next to it. I went, oh no! So I had to disable my autosave, save the game, and then I went above the NPC on a cliff and threw a Pokeball and caught the Starly.
Oh, nice!
Before it
Do you have to wear them down?
Yes,
I haven't played any of Arceus.
Yeah, you can, or you can just go balls
Master
out.
Ball.
Balls out. No, there's no Master Ball.
Isn't there?
No.
I thought you got a Master Ball.
No, not in this game. You've got all kinds of balls.
The Master Ball is a modern invention, and this is set a couple of hundred years prior. So it's just
You're like a steampunk ball.
Yep,
yeah,
exactly.
steampunk ball. That's a good way to put it.
Anyway, that's enough about that. We've spoken a lot about Arceus over the past couple of weeks. There is a game that one of us is playing. I'll let you guess who. That is very, very popular. A lot of people are enjoying it. Floppy, what is that game?
It is Mrs. Pac-Man. No.
I enjoy Mrs. Pac-Man.
Me too. I watched the thing on how they got made the other day.
Yeah, it was a rip-off.
Yeah.
And
then they just went, all right, well, you can release it under our name.
Yeah.
And they went, okay. Made lots more. Anyway, I'm playing...
Caesar, there is a Pac-Man-related question later on in the show from Dylan the Villain. So, there you go. Anyway, continue.
And I watched the whole thing on Pac-Man. Oh, hoo, hoo. I don't know what that was. Sorry. I've been playing Horizon Forbidden West. Now, you would have heard me talk lots over the last few years about how much I loved Horizon Zero Dawn. Mm-hmm. It was my favourite game of 2017. Mm-hmm. The reason I didn't get around to playing Breath of the Wild for a long time, unlike everyone else on the planet who played Breath of the Wild instead of Horizon Zero Dawn.
The correct way.
We'll call it another way.
We'll call it a way.
It's a way, but yeah. And I am loving it. Yeah. I am putting whatever spare time I can around work, children, my partner, and funneling it into Horizon. So I think I've done about 14 hours, which for me is huge.
And that is a big thing. How much? Sorry, I was daydreaming. What?
It might not actually be completely 14 hours because I think there was a few hours where I left it on.
It doesn't count pause.
It went out?
No, it doesn't count pause mode.
No? Okay, maybe. So yeah, and I've literally been just exploring and finding things, playing it the way that everyone else played Breath of the Wild.
Just exploring?
Just exploring and coming across stuff and doing lots of little side quests and little errands and all the little tasks.
Little errands? What does errand do?
No, errand as in you have an errand to run.
Why is she running?
Errand.
Errand D. What's her last name?
Shut up.
I can do this all day.
Anyway, so I know that there are a few people, Anto included, who are playing Horizon Zero Dawn at the moment. Quite a few for the first time. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about Horizon, how it ties in. But it is set 3 months after, I think it was 3 months, 3 to 5 months after the end of Horizon Zero Dawn. And if you've played through the end of that and you saw what happened, it sort of takes off straight from there. And, you know, you are the saviour. But I think everyone was going to know that anyway.
Do you know who else is a saviour? The 10th Doctor. Because he's always playing Horizon. Because he's always yelling out, Aloy Z.
I don't get it.
I'm sorry.
Isn't it Alon Z, not Aloy Z?
I don't get it. Does anyone else get it? Does anyone get it? I don't get that. I don't watch Doctor Who. Yeah. So Horizon Forbidden West starts off with a nice big... Hang your head in shame. That was terrible. A nice big tutorial area. So for anyone who hasn't played Horizon Zero Dawn, it gives you a nice little recap. It's probably not a very detailed recap, but it was enough to jog my memory of everything that happened because I haven't played it for like 4 years. And then you have an area where you can relearn or learn for the first time your controls, what you sort of things you can do, how to use your skill trees and your inventory and things like that. And it's really good. I feel like it's really intuitive. I don't know if that's just me remembering stuff from the first game, or if it is actually really well made and intuitive. I don't know, Anto's you've got an opinion on that, Anto?
I just have something to add to it, I guess. Like, you guys have talked about how games should have like a dad mode or parent mode. For the first time last night, I experienced like wanting a feature like that. Going back to Zero Dawn for the first time in what feels like maybe 6 months.
Yeah.
I forgot how to play and just had to spam buttons until I knew what was going on. So I feel like the game should time how long you've not played for and go, hey, here's a quick refresher. I think that'd be really handy.
Cool thing about Horizon Forbidden West, and I can't remember if it was in Zero Dawn, is there's a little tutorial notes in your notebook, in your menu. So you can go through and it'll have a little video segment and a quick explanation of how to do things.
Do you know what would be better?
What?
If game companies like brought back physical manuals in their games.
Nah, because then you just flick through them anyway. Like they essentially have. It's just on the screen instead.
No,
it's on your
I
HUD.
want my physical manual in my game.
Yeah, you want that new manual smell.
Yeah, my manuals.
Nah, just keep strategy guides and ditch manuals. I love strategy guides.
No,
But yeah, the menu system. Speaking of that, I think it's excellent. I find it really easy to use. The skill tree is really easy to understand. Every time you hover over something, it tells you exactly what it's going to do, what you're going to work towards. Very easy to go through and know when there's new notes that you haven't looked at, or new errands or quests that haven't rocked up, and you can shoot straight to your map to find out exactly where you've got to go. Really well put together, really well done. The scenery, the visuals is phenomenal.
This is what I've been hearing
It is
non-stop about.
Really freaking pretty game.
How is it? All right, so because I haven't played it or seen it firsthand.
Yep.
Compare it to Ghost of Tsushima.
I didn't play much of Ghost of Tsushima.
Right. Okay.
So I didn't play much of Ghost of Tsushima at all, so I'm not really sure how to sort of relate it to that. Mm-hmm. But put it this way, the detail that's in there, and I bought a new 4K TV end of last year.
Yep.
It's my first 4K TV. I spent a little bit of money. I researched and got what I wanted, and was really, really happy with how things are looking on this right now. Okay. One thing I'd like to do before I get into how it looks, though, is talk about accessibility. I see Dylan Villains just asked me if I'm playing on visual or performance mode. I will get to that because there is a thing that I wanted to talk about with that one. Accessibility. So that's obviously been in the forefront of a lot of people's conversations around games over the last few years. I think the accessibility in this game is amazing. The amount of control you have over how you play.
So like mapping the controller, or?
Not so much mapping the controller, but more so not accessibility in the physical sense, but accessibility to, say, different levels of gamer.
Okay.
So you can go in and have a full HUD with all the information you have on the HUD, or you can pare it right down to next to nothing and just swipe up on your controller to be able to show the rest of your HUD that's in there. Mm-hmm. Or you can go in and turn on what's called Explorer mode, which means it won't sort of baby you through all the quests and where everything is. You will have to go out and find stuff. It'll give you a rough idea of where things go, and you can go out and find it yourself. Go back to your contracts, read those to figure out where to go, or it can guide you step by step, or you can have a combination of sort of the both. Mm-hmm. There is also a mode where you can pair a second controller and play in conjunction with someone else who also has an account. And I haven't really looked into this yet, but I think it's for people who may not have the ability to use the whole controller properly.
Oh, really?
I think. I'm not 100% sure yet because I haven't played around
with it. You know
what?
what? That would be a great way to stream it. Like,
yes.
If someone's
like one person's operating movement, the other person's operating like menu systems or crafting or
jumping.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. That'd be great.
So that was really cool to see. Like, and I haven't gone into that bit yet, but it is something I want to check out more about. So yeah, I was really, really happy to see all the different ways that I can change it to play the way I want to play. Mm-hmm. So that was awesome. So far, side quests and things like that have been my jam. There is a lot of main quest stuff that you can do straight away. I have literally been sort of stuck to my first sort of area for a good 6 hours.
That's the way to go.
And leveled up and did all the little things and hunted all the robot beasts and gathered information and did all my little side quests and met all the people and talked to everyone and upped armor and upped weapons, and it's made the whole process, that little bit of time there, a lot smoother on the way through as well, because I'm not trying to grind and do things when I'm already under level.
I haven't looked at your notes, but I just want to ask, how's the story going so far?
Story's great. Like, it progresses quite well, because it's also at the point where it won't let you do a certain amount of side quests or a certain amount of main quests before having to do one or the other.
Right.
So it won't let you just do all the side quests, or it won't let you just do the main quests. You have to do a little bit of each. Mm-hmm. And so I had some side quests that it actually stopped me. It paused, and it said unavailable until done X mission for...
Eat your vegetables first.
Yeah. But I found it really unobtrusive, and I found it quite it was enough to, after I'd spent enough time in an area, it gave me a little nudge. And it was really cool. Has a couple of new additions to things like weapons and stuff, which is always the normal. Had a lot of the same weapons, which is really cool because I actually remember how to use them quite quickly. Mm-hmm. But then it has something which was 100% Breath of the Wild. You have a shield. Mm-hmm. It's cool. It's like an energy shield that pops out from your arm.
Like Captain America?
It's got the shield wing, and you glide on it.
Nice. You
can jump off a cliff and glide on this thing, and it is great. It makes sometimes traversal because you climb a lot of stuff. You can't climb everything, but you can climb a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. Makes traversal up and then down Easy. You just jump off the cliff, glide down. You have a little thing called a focus, which is a little electronic doohickey on the side of your head that allows you to scan your environment.
And lets you know whose energy level is over 9,000.
Yeah, exactly. Dragon Ball Z.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. Yes. But it's what you use to be able to scan your beasts, and then different parts on them. You can pick off parts that you can want to shoot off with your arrows to harvest specific items, things like that. Use it to track things through environments. It's really cool how they implemented it, because you can do a quick scan where it just sends out like a sonar blast, picks up items and stuff, or you can hold it down and analyze everything. But you don't have to do either. And I can't remember if they could hold it down and do the analyze thing in the first one or not, or a quick blast. But might be something for Anto to answer. Has a board game in it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it has a board game in it, kind of like you know how like The Witcher had
Whatever.
Gwent.
Yep.
Gwent, and Assassin's Creed had a little one called, I can't remember what it's called as well. This one has in it too, and it's like a little miniatures game.
Oh, really?
Yeah, kind of like, imagine chess, but you have little miniature machines that you come across.
If, like, say for example, this game becomes popular and they make some money, I don't know, could they just throwing it out there, make physical copies?
Oh my God, it's already made to do that. Like, they have thought this ahead.
Apologies, I had to fix something that broke when we did something earlier, which is why we've now got footage.
Well, for the podcast listeners, don't worry. Everything was fine.
Look how beautiful this is, though.
Yeah, it does look very, very
nice. You got all your favourite old machines from the last game, and you've got some new ones too, which are really, really cool. Got some other little interesting side quests, these things called relic ruins, where you find like a decrepit old building.
Were they mugs in the first one, the collectibles?
You could find mugs and things like that. There was a few other different collectibles. But with the relic ruins, you actually have to find where an image was taken of this ruin, and you have to find the spot and match it up with the background.
Exactly like Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, it's exactly. Hey, you know what? If it works, do it, because it works great. This is one of those things, I think.
Do you know what I really like about this? For
What's that?
Podcast listeners, we're seeing footage of Aloy hiding in the red
plantation.
The bush,
I really like how they've made it red to sort of going with her hair. So you could feasibly believe
that she's
actually hiding.
Yeah.
As opposed to like Arceus, where you just duck down in some tall grass and like anyone can see you. You're not hiding at all.
The machines in this are actually quite terrifying, because if you make too much noise or you stand up to use your bow, they'll see you. And they have different degrees of alert. But then they will come after you. But you've got dodge systems and things that are really easy to use at the push of a button and flick of an analog stick. Combat's really fluid. I love it.
Why do the machines want to kill you?
So there are some machines that are just they're predatory machines. There are others that have been, what's the word? Corrupted. They're not good ones. But you can also tame some animals or some of the beasts.
Cool.
Use them to ride them and stuff like that. So obviously,
I have a quick question about traversal, climbing, etc. So this footage is showing that you've got like a grappling hook or a thing you can swing off of arches and stuff.
Yeah, you get a grappling hook.
How is the climbing in this compared to the first game? Because in Zero Dawn, it feels very restrictive, and I don't know if that's just because I played Breath of the Wild.
Look, anything that you play after Breath of the Wild feels restrictive, because Breath of the Wild you can climb everything.
Yep.
Yeah.
But that's not normal.
No, that was clearly a standout.
Link was basically Spider-Man.
Yeah. In this, you can't climb everything. You can climb more in this one than you can in the last one. And you use that focus, you put out a little sonar beep, and it will highlight areas that you can climb up, and it's pretty easy to tell anyway. But then you also have a grapple, which you can use to pull things like walls down or crates closer to you, or move them around and jump up to attach to grapple points, which is really easy to do. You just jump, press the button again, and it automatically grapples up for you.
I have to agree with Roy Adzov in the chat, who said gorgeous water effects. This looks really, really cool. So my personal belief with the Uncanny Valley, or when graphics will become one-to-one, is that when they get hair right, which we're on our way, when they get teeth and eyes right, and when they get realistic looking water.
That water is
And I think
good.
the water has already checked one off.
Yeah,
we just need to worry about hair, eyes and teeth.
This is playing, I don't know what they're playing this on or at, but it's pretty amazing. So when it comes down to what I'm playing at, so there is 2 different modes you can play on. You can play in Fidelity, or you can play in Performance. Fidelity is 4K, HDR, and 30 frames a second.
Yeah, and from what I heard, a lot of people are choosing that because the 60 frame per second is just a little bit not what's the word I'm looking for?
I'll get to that because the other one is you lose your 4K, lose your HDR, but you get 60 frames.
Right.
So I always choose fidelity. I just bought a 4K TV. I want to see things in 4K.
Yep.
That's what I bought it for. But I spent about an hour the other day just spending 15 minutes on fidelity and then flicking it over to performance because it's really easy to do. Go to your menu, flick it over. Mm-hmm. And playing 15 minutes of that and going back and forth between fidelity and performance. And for me, personally, the performance mode at 60 frames a second, unplayable.
Really?
I hated it.
What's wrong with it?
It looks like Keystone Cops.
Wow.
Now, I don't like 60 frames, though.
Right.
Like, I don't like playing things at 60 frames. This is the first time I'd really tried. To be honest, anything over 24 frames looks a little bit odd to me. But
I think that might come from the fact that you're a bit of a movie buff.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
and all films and movies shot at 24 frames a
experiences
second.
are your sort of jam. So,
Yeah.
60 frames is probably quite jarring if you're used to watching things at 24 to 30.
The thing that got me the most about the 60 frames was that it looked faster. I know that it's not, but it was just a trick of... It was tricking my head into
Faster or
thinking...
smoother?
No, it looked faster.
Okay.
It looked... Now, I'm not saying it was faster. I'm just saying it's the way it tricked me.
Yep.
And the background kept blurring in and out as I moved. It appeared to be moving too quick for it to stay crisp. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I did not like it. Now, I've never played another game at 60 frames and gone back and forth like that. So my opinion is purely based on this.
Yep.
So it is something that I'm looking forward to trying on something else and seeing if it was a unique experience or if it's me just being an old man and I don't like 60 frames. How people play at 120, forget about it.
Young.
Yeah.
Damn young people.
But yeah, I was finding it really hard to aim and do everything because it appeared to be moving quicker than I thought.
Wow. So the argument I've heard about, from one of my friends who was playing it, similarly playing 30 frames per second in 4K, he was actually really disappointed the fact that this is supposedly next gen, and we can only get 60 frames per second in 4K with these, powerful machines. They're still not up
30
to
frames
that.
a second in 4K.
Yeah, but we can't go 60 frames in 4K, and that was a sticking point for him. He's very visually orientated.
Yep.
He's a graphics type person. And he's a console gamer, so yeah, whatever. What's your opinion there? Is it so disastrous that it sort of puts moot the whole next generation of video games? Or?
Definitely not. It's definitely the prettiest game I've ever played.
Because, this is available on the PS4 as well, right?
PS4, PS5,
So
Series
is it truly
X.
next gen? Are we going to have that argument where if it's on the previous generation, it can't really truly be?
Oh, no, so I believe that this was made for PS5 and Series X, and they've got a peeled back version for the PS4. I've seen side by sides; they don't look the same.
Right.
They're not far off, but I'm sure they're on a 4K PS4 Pro. I'm sure it'll run somewhat similar.
Yep.
I don't think it'd look that great on a base PS4.
No.
I think it would struggle. But yeah, I do think it's next gen. I think it was made to take advantage of the power of the PS5 and the Series X.
If you had to give it a score so far, score and review, a Hack the Dino score and review
So
out of 10.
Just out of what I've played so far?
Yeah.
8.5, 9.
Nice. Pretty good.
There's been a couple of little things, the only things that would have pulled me out of it has been a couple of little sort of weird glitchy parts where I've gone through things. Mm-hmm. I've jumped up onto a ladder, and when you swing, I've actually swung through the rungs that were below me. But hair's gone through things, but that's it.
That's normal.
That's normal for any games.
I think that's pretty normal for open world games of this magnitude. I was playing Zero Dawn last night, and I can't remember what the name of the monster is. It was one of the alligator monster things.
Yep.
One of those ran into another one that was attacking me and shot it directly up into the air, and I took some footage of it. But
Did you then shoot it
stuff
in
like
the
that's
air
just
with
going
a
to happen.
So overall, recommended?
Oh, yeah, Series X. I kept saying Series X.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's freaking PlayStation.
I wasn't listening.
No, I wasn't really paying attention to what I was saying. I was just talking about next gen.
I was just thinking about big old Robo Dinos. And if you like Robo Dinos, you can head on over to hackthedino.com where you can see all the stuff we do, such as heading on over to Spotify or iTunes or Stitcher or any of those things and leaving us a nice review for our audio podcast happenings. Spotify now do the review thing as well. So if you can leave a 5 stars for us over on your Spotify on your phone, that would be
balls.
But sure. You can also head on over to and see our Instagram and Facebook and all our other socials. I mentioned our TikTok channel up there before, which is growing quite nicely. Or head on over to twitch.tv/HackTheDino, where you may be watching it live now. Hello, chat. You're awesome.
Speaking of the chat, We Are Robots has just said that there's a patch apparently coming out today that fixes some visual issues with some of the modes in Horizon. So I'll be keen to check that out.
Yeah,
see what
head
happens.
on over to hackthedino.com to see all those patch notes. Speaking of patch notes, something was released during the week. Something that we've been waiting a while for.
Oh, yes.
And that little something is the next-gen patch for Cyberpunk 2077. All reports, I've not downloaded this yet. If you have it on PlayStation or Xbox, you get a free upgrade to the next-gen version. You just have to download it. It's not an automatic download. You physically have to go into the store
There's no
and
cost?
download it. No cost.
Oh, that's good.
This is a free upgrade, which is the least they can do. From all reports, it is closer to the game that it was supposed to be at launch.
Oh, cool.
They've made a lot of quality of life improvements. There's obviously no horrendous glitches like we saw before. And romance partners now have the ability to send you nudes. So,
The real important part of
CD
the reason
Projekt
you got
Red,
this.
really bringing that world to life by having consensual nudes being sent to you. What? Anto, what do you think of nudes?
As a concept, or
Sure.
yeah, no comment.
Good. That's a good comment to have.
I'm keen to see what some of
If
the...
you're a consenting adult, do what you want, but I don't think it needs to be in video games.
Just remember, it's on the internet forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, Floppy?
I was going to say, so I know quite a few people that have played this, and there's been such a varied range of opinions. So some people have really enjoyed it, some people couldn't play it, some people have thought it was fine. So I'm really keen to see what is the reaction from the people that really enjoed it compared to the reaction of people that couldn't play it before.
I streamed it for about 2 hours. When I first got it, I got it for $20. It's great. Streamed it for 20 hours. To me, the world was just empty. Like, they said this futuristic cybernetic city. The gameplay was fine. It was whatever. It was your basic RPG. But yeah, the world just seemed really lifeless and empty. One thing that really took me out of it was you know how games like this just copy NPCs and cut copy. They must have had only about 4 different NPC designs because I kept seeing the same NPC who wasn't the same character just pop up in a bar. Then he'd be downstairs as a homeless guy. Then I'd catch the train somewhere and go to a completely different level and he'd be there as a different guy. And that just really, hurt it, I think. I think I will get the upgrade because it's free and I may actually give it a go. If I find some time to stream it, be the old streaming person on the old Hack the Dino channel at some point. That's the thing about streaming here on Hack the Dino. We don't really give out warnings. We just pop up and go, hey, stream time.
Yeah, well, there's no planning involved. I tell you what, I know someone who's really looking forward to this.
Yeah.
My partner.
Yeah?
Yeah, she had a really good time with Cyberpunk.
You're just not sending her enough nudes. That's
More
the problem.
specifically, she had a really good time with Judy on Cyberpunk.
Oh, I see.
Is it because she's got the same name as the protagonist?
No, she really dug Judy.
Yeah?
Pretty sure it's the background on her PC.
Okay.
Maybe I'll let you know how those nudes go.
I don't know about you guys, but looking at this video, I feel like the UI just feels lazy and messy.
Yeah, that's a fair call. I mean, once you're in the game...
I really should give it a shot now.
Yeah, I
I
think so.
didn't give it a chance before just because there was too much stuff going on with it and I had other things on.
Well, I did see a new copy in the local game store for about $30. So,
I
well worth the punt, I
Won't
think.
say that I've already got one sitting on the shelf at home. That cost me nothing.
Do you know what else you may have at home, Floppy? Well, you'll have at home as of the 27th of this month, which is just in a couple of days.
Okay, what's that?
And that is a present from Pokemon. As a Pokemon present is coming on... Oh, sorry, it's a Pokemon Presents.
Oh, I was going to say, I don't think I'm that good of friends with Pokemon.
I am. So we're getting basically a Pokemon Direct, 14 minutes long, where they're going to be announcing something as part of the 26th anniversary of Pokemon.
Do you have a prediction as to what they're going to announce?
I mean, it's a long shot, but...
You reckon it's going to be Gen 9, don't you?
The Sword and Shield... So, Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl doesn't have any battling in it. because it wasn't made by Game Freak. It was sourced out to another dev company. And the worlds are currently being played on Sword and Shield.
Okay.
From what I've heard from Pokemon circles, that's getting pretty tired now. And, you know, Pokemon being the highest selling franchise in the entire planet, they used to have a 3-year break in between generations. I think they're pushing that a little bit more. So they'll either go Arceus DLC, which is heavily rumored.
Oh, that's what I was going to say.
They will go I don't think they'll do another remake this soon. So they need a November release.
Yeah.
Like they need a November release.
Can I give you an option for it? Or I'll give you a secret option C.
Okay, so Arceus DLC.
Yep.
Or they will go Gen 9 and announce Gen 9 for November. Or a third one, which I had in my head and I've forgotten now. So forget it. It'll come back to me and I'll be right.
Port of Poke Park.
That game's rubbish.
I didn't say it was a good...
As Dan McGuinness
Port.
used to say, nah, that's rubbo.
That's rubbo. You know how often I
Rubbo.
use that now?
Bloody
I always say
turkey.
rubbo.
Yeah,
think.
so I'm pretty excited to see what they've got in store. 14 minutes, it makes me think that they're going to focus just on one release detail. I've got a good feeling that it might be...
I reckon it'll be DLC.
You reckon?
Yeah. I'd almost bet one of my children on it.
Well,
I said almost.
Oh.
I'm not a total animal.
total. Do you know who is a total animal? Oh, sorry, Anto, what do you think it'll be? You're still here, right?
You mean the Pokemon Presents stuff?
Yeah.
Honestly, considering it's only 14 minutes long, I feel like we're going to get a trailer for something. Mm-hmm. What that is, I don't know. And the rest of it is going to be a Pokemon Go update.
So they have...
Is Pokemon Go still happening?
yeah, there's a big thing on tomorrow.
I didn't mean is it still happening? Like it's still, I know it's still a thing. Is it still on the up and up? Like, is there still more and more people joining it?
It's making bucket loads of money,
Yeah,
if that's your
it
question.
still makes billions per year, but I don't think it's sort of peaking the way it did back in like 2017.
That's a good
They're
point.
still doing events though, right?
Yeah, there's one tomorrow. The
is
big yearly event where it's a 12-hour event, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. This one's focused on the Johto region, which was the Gen 2.
Pokemon Johto.
And you pay $12 or whatever it is, and you have to go out and hunt every single Pokemon, and there's a hide and
You
shiny
have to pay
rate.
to go and do work?
Yeah, it's not work, it's fun. We Are Robots in the chat has said Pokemon Sleep. We, of course, heard about this about 2 years ago, and then it never eventuated.
What was that?
There has been some Pokemon Sleep data found in Pokemon Go. Data miners have found that, so that's possibility as well. That's coming along.
Was that a sleep
yeah.
app?
Basically, yeah.
Creepy.
So yeah, there's lots of possibilities as to what it could be. The fact that it's only 14 minutes long, I think it'll be, as Anto said, maybe one small trailer for update and then focus on November's release.
There'll be some
Or
good puns
we could get
in
like
there.
an augmented reality re-release of that peripheral that Nintendo had for dentist's office where it gasses you when you encounter a coughing. That'd be great.
What?
Roy, Azov in the chat has just said a Pokemon Ranger remake.
Oh, that could be cool. That could be cool.
They are good games.
Was that the DS ones? Was it?
Yeah. where
Blue
you
and-
circled them. Yep. No, that's Mystery Dungeon. You're thinking
Mystery
Mystery
Dun-
Dungeon,
Mystery
which they
Dungeon.
already remade.
Mm.
Something that's not been remade, but brand spanking new, was a big old counter that came out at the end of last week.
That was an impressive counter.
It just popped up out of nowhere.
It was cool.
And no one knew what was going on. Capcom released it. And
I knew.
we had Did you know? Or
Yeah, of course I knew.
Like, really?
Yeah.
Like, it's a genuine question now, because I know you do
Hell no.
actually have context in the gaming industry.
No, I did not know.
So Capcom released it. People were thinking either Resident Evil 4 remake announcement, but as Triple Indie, one of our Patreons, suggested in our Discord, which you can join by going to hackthedino.com and clicking the Discord button, suggested no, it's coming at the end of the Street Fighter tournament that they have every year. And he was pretty certain it was going to be Street Fighter 6.
He was very certain.
So at the end of it, and the countdown reached 0 on Monday morning
Yeah.
in Australia, we had... I've skipped a bit. I'll get back to that.
There was the lead up to
The
it.
reveal of Capcom Fighting Challenge. So, you know how we had the 20th anniversary or 30th anniversary of Street Fighter with all the Street Fighter games?
Yeah, I
on
got
one
that. That
disc?
was really cool.
Really, really cool. They've done that with a lot of their other arcade fighter games. So they were getting Darkstalkers and Night Warriors, Darkstalkers Revenge, Vampire Savior, Vampire Hunter 2, Vampire Savior 2, Red Earth, Cyberbots, Super Gem Fighter Minimix, Super Puzzle Fighter 2, and Hyper Street Fighter 2. It also features legends from Capcom's competitive arcade gaming history.
I've heard of one of them.
There's some that was never released in the US outside of Japan.
Was it 9 of them?
No, these were released. So this is during the fighting craze
that looks
around Marvel
cool.
versus Capcom. Yeah, the graphics. This phase of Capcom making fighting games is just brilliant. Big, beautiful, comic-inspired graphics, fluid
that
gameplay.
sword.
Just amazing. I highly recommend everyone get this. They're also bringing out a double pack with the Street Fighter collection
that.
as well.
I saw that.
That
That
looks
looks cool.
really, really nice. As someone who collects Street Fighter games, I'm fully tempted to get that. But before we get on to anything else, Anto, what do you think of the Capcom collection?
I'm super pumped for it. Like, I think Indy in our Discord is probably a little bit more into fighting games than I am, especially now.
Yep.
But I grew up sort of when arcades were still featuring games like this. The arcade scene in the UK started to die off a little bit by the time I was old enough to go and experience it myself all the time.
Oh, you poor thing.
It's because you're a baby.
This is super exciting to me.
This is
I
chibis.
think it's really funny that a lot of people go, Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo, where's the first one? There never was. It's just a play on the whole Street Fighter 2 getting 2,600 bloody versions.
Correct. That was an ongoing joke back then as well. Like, they just refused to bring out Street Fighter 3. It was Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition, Street Fighter 2 Hyper Fighting, which was Turbo, Super Street Fighter 2 New Warriors, Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo. It just went on and on. It
Hyper
was an ongoing
Fighting,
joke. Yep.
Rainbow Edition, the new challenges.
No. Rainbow Edition was an
Rainbow
illegal
was
hack.
a hack,
Yeah.
of course, but like I think the Hyper Fighting ones came out after that because of the increased game speed or something.
No, that was so Hyper Fighting came out of after Champion Edition
Yeah.
to increase the speed, and they were called Turbo when they were ported to consoles.
I played Street Fighter 2 on my dad's PC.
Yeah, and it was slow as hell.
Yeah, which meant I could do it. But
Well,
it also,
after the show floppy, we can just go to my arcade cabinet and play every Street Fighter game.
But my mate and I used to play two-player, but one of us had to use the cursor keys and two other keys. The other one had to use WASD. And so you're both trying to share a keyboard. It was so fucking hard.
Man, I remember doing MAME emulation on my first laptop and playing Marvel vs. Capcom 1 with like one keyboard at college and stuff. It was just so stupid. But to answer Ben's question, I'm very happy this is coming out.
Yeah, I can't wait to play some of these games.
It's going to be so good. Like,
Yep.
online, they've confirmed rollback netcode.
Yeah, rollback
which
netcode.
is the best online fighting netcode you can get.
Anto,
It's just-
explain quickly what rollback netcode is.
I can't explain it in super technical terms.
All right.
Good.
Well, I've got a description here if you want me to go for it.
Go for it.
Rollback netcode eliminates the delay by predicting your inputs. The game will attempt to predict your input by itself and will show that input to the enemy player. So basically, it's psychic.
That sounds
Unlike
bad.
delay-based, where it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Isn't that a bad thing?
No, it's a good thing.
But you don't want your opponent to know what you're going to do.
I'm not going to show you the buttons they're pressing. Like, if I go jumping kick into a shuriken, that's a pretty common combination. So it'll predict that's the move that I'm making based on my gameplay, and then do
Okay.
it so there's no lag in between.
Oh, it'll predict your move and do it for you. I thought you were saying
Well,
showing
no,
your
it'll-
opponent your
yeah.
move.
So basically, it's a way to mitigate lag between.
This is why I didn't want to try and explain it, because it gets confusing real quick.
Anyway, Street Fighter 6 got revealed next. And already there's controversy. So it was just a teaser trailer. But Street Fighter 6 is on its way. A lot of people were really excited. It looks like that Hot Ryu, which is Ryu without a top on.
He doesn't look hot.
Are
He
you
looks
kidding me?
gross.
No, he looks fucking sexy as shit.
He looks pretty hot. He's
Look at
very
those feet.
sweaty.
Why has he got gorilla feet?
Look at this big old beard. It's freaking Hot Ryu. And I can guarantee he stinks like crap because he's just...
Crack or crap?
Oh, either. But he actually looks Japanese, which is a nice change because he is actually Japanese.
Yeah, he doesn't look like an American dude for once.
But yeah, it's good to see Hot Ryu as the base skin. What's not good to see is that logo.
It is now. So we've talked about this in the Discord all
Yes.
week.
Yep.
All week it's been going on about.
Brian Altano's tweet made me laugh so hard, and he was the first one I saw this. And he just tweeted, looks like Street Fighter's got 6 emails.
Yes, yeah, it looks like notifications.
But
I think Anto put up a.
yes, Anto or Triple India in the chat, or maybe it was Michael Towns.
I think it was
We can see it on screen now. On the left-hand side, we can see the Street Fighter 6 logo.
Yes.
And on the right, we can see an Adobe Premiere. What's the word I'm looking for?
Free logo?
Yep, stock photo.
Stock
Just
art.
a stock art.
They are almost identical.
It's ridiculous. But also, it is such a change from every other logo they've had, which have followed a very specific
Now, I can
formula.
understand the logic in that. So after Street Fighter V launched rather poorly, the leads were changed. So the leads for the Street Fighter were moved on to other projects or moved along altogether. And a new team of devs came in and programmers came in to start Street Fighter V. And Street Fighter V became good towards the end their ongoing patches and whatnot. So that's the team now responsible for Street Fighter VI. And I think by choosing a new logo, they're showing that sort of these people who have been part of the Street Fighter mythos for decades are no longer there and they're making a new start.
You're right, but they chose a logo from Google Images.
Yes, they did. Yes. So I can understand what they're doing, what they're going for. But this isn't the first time Street Fighter's had issues like this.
Oh, really?
Again, as Triple Indy, our resident Street Fighter fighting expert, brought up in our Discord, hackthedino.com, Street Fighter 3, when it was first announced, wasn't called Street Fighter 3. It was just called 3. And was met with a barrage of disapproval, and they later changed it all to Street Fighter 3.
I'm pretty sure they also have a subtitle New Generation
Correct.
as well, and like Ryu and Ken weren't in it.
No, Ryu and Ken were the only returning characters.
That's
Everyone
right,
else was
yeah.
new. And then with the subsequent additions to it, they brought in Chun-Li and all the fan favorites. So I don't think this will be the final logo. I think it's something will be replaced or reworked very, very quickly, especially because it's so close, whether it was just someone stealing from stock footage or
So
not.
weird.
I
think, you're right, I think it might be an interim logo.
An interim logo? Yeah, no, I think so as well.
Placeholder.
But why would you do that on an announcement trailer?
I don't know. I can't have all the answers.
See, I think personally it looks like a bad NFT.
Whoa. Maybe we
Nift.
get into the NFT game.
A nuft.
A non-fungible token. But I wanted to show something really quickly, if that's cool with you guys.
Sure, hit us.
The logo itself is terrible because it just completely loses the design language of the rest of the series.
That's
And
kind
I
of what I
think
was
that's
talking about.
important. So this is what everything's looked like so far.
Yep.
And then you've got Adobe Fighter 6. It's basically stock footage 6.
Yeah, stock footage.
Like, it's
See what I
just,
mean?
I don't know.
You think they would have kept some of the design style or some of the color
Yeah, even the palette.
and just not lost everything?
But again, I understand what they were going for here.
I don't know if I do.
They were showing it's a new start. Again, Royal Azov in the chat has said it's remind them of a UFC Octagon, which is another discussion I believe you had with Triple Indy in the chat, Anto.
Yeah, Indy was saying maybe they're leaning into the whole, UFC has become a very popular thing in the last,
Never heard of
I
it.
don't know, 7 or 8 years. I hope they don't do that because, Street Fighter's always had a touch of the mystical and wacky and very sort of anime-inspired stuff.
That's what I love about
And
it.
I feel like in a market where you've got, Street Fighter, King of Fighters, Dragon Ball FighterZ, you've got anime fighting games that go balls to the wall crazy.
We just got King of Fighters.
Huh?
We just got the King
Yeah,
King of
King of Fighters
Fighters.
15, I think, just
Yep.
came out as well. But, like, in an environment where UFC already exists as a fighting game, you don't need another game to do that, maybe. I don't know. I got some opinions. Sometimes they don't make sense. I've been awake for 3 hours, so...
Good. Do you know what else has been awake for 3 hours and more?
This guy.
Us. And what's this guy going to talk about now?
Ooh, we're going to talk about some hot stuff and some hot crap.
Wow. We're talking about my... I don't know. I wish I thought.
Oh, yeah, I wish I'd jumped in a little bit sooner.
Yeah, thanks.
We've got 12 of the best and worst, that's 6 of each, movie tie-in games. Now, usually when you hear movie tie-in game, you get a little bit of sick in your throat because you know it's going to be bad.
Yep.
But there are some good ones.
There are.
There are some great ones. That's a-
I'll stop.
Not a movie tie-in game. That was a movie made from a game.
All right,
if you
whatever.
scream Mortal Kombat loud enough, you're legally allowed to kill someone.
Really? Sweet.
So I'm going to explain the conditions now. This is my list. There will be people who disagree. Don't care. This is my list that I have made from games that I feel are the best and worst movie tie-ins. There have been some notable ones that are missing, of which I'll address. I have not included any Star Wars games or Lego games because I feel like even though they're movie tie-in games, they could have a list of their own. There's so many of them.
Yep.
So we're going to go from 6 to 1, and we're going to skip from the best and worst of each one. So starting it off, and I know some of you will know what I've put this in there. Game Boy Dad, I'm looking at you. The 6th worst movie tie-in game is Fast and Furious Crossroads.
What a game.
Mate, I don't even know if I need to talk about it. I've talked about it so much on this thing. What a hot piece of trash. This came out 2020 for the PS4 and Xbox One. However, somehow contains PS1 gameplay, PS2 and PS3 graphics at times, and a hacking car. It was a hot piece of trash.
We're a big fan of hacking cars here at Hack the Dino. It's the natural progression of being an extinct animal and being a big car, which you ride.
Yes. Now, what I should have said is also all of these games are either... Look at Vin Diesel. All these games
my
are
pecs need to be bigger.
either...
Look at those teeth. I
movie-
was talking before about the Uncanny Valley.
She's got the teeth lollies in, I think. These are all games of actual movies or to fit into movie series, if that makes sense. So I'm not doing just movie characters and things like that. Yeah, they look horrible. This game was... I could not play it. I tried. It is so bad. That is a PS4 and Xbox One game made in 2020, and look at it. Oh, needs more
You know what
rocket
the
chips.
problem with this is?
There's a lot.
It wasn't developed by family.
Oh, go away. No, don't encourage him with that.
Okay, well, we'll skip that one and we'll go to the number 6 of the best movie tie-in games. So this one goes all the way back to 2002. It came out on the PS2 and Xbox. And it is the game set after John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh.
So this is written as a sequel to
Anyone in the
John
chat,
Carpenter's The Thing.
anyone listening, if you've not seen The Thing, this movie still holds up today. And I encourage you, I implore you, please go and watch it. It is fantastic.
I do believe this was canon. I think that's been retconned now. That's been an actual sequel filmed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there
John
was
Carpenter have anything to do with it? Or they just, the
I'm not
studio
sure.
went, hey, we like
I think
money.
they just made another one. Oh no, it was a prequel. You're right. Someone in the chat just said it was a prequel. That's right, because it was ended up with the dog. I know what you're talking about. So this is made as a sequel to John Carpenter's 1984 film. It's a third-person action-adventure shooter. There are multiple NPCs in this that can be a part of your team, and you can control them as a team, giving them orders and things like that. And they act on a fear/trust system. So if you do things, if you just go in guns blazing and act a little bit crazy, they actually think you're a little bit crazy, and they're either not going to trust you, they're going to try and kill you, or they're going to off themselves.
Off themselves?
Yeah, they
That's
will.
awful.
If they think you are the thing and you're going to get them, they'll off themselves.
Oh, that's... Yeah.
It's actually really, really cool. It dictates whether they work with you or try to kill you or things like that. It is phenomenal. Now, yes, it is PS2, so the graphics do look old, still look better than Crossroads.
Again, watch this film. Like,
Yeah, it's
seriously,
great.
watch this film. There was also a really, really cool comic book series back in the early 2000s where they basically just ripped off the entire plot, but instead of the Thing, it was the Venom symbiote.
Yeah.
And no one knew who the Venom symbiote was.
Nice.
Yeah, really, really cool.
John Carpenter's movie, actually a remake of an older movie anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
I haven't seen the old one, but I've
The
seen John
only thing I
Carpenter's.
have to add to anyone playing The Thing now, obviously it's a game from the PlayStation 2 era, so, don't go in expecting Cyberpunk levels of anything.
No.
Well, it depends if it's the first Cyberpunk, like without
If
the
it's,
patches.
if it's
then...
the original Cyberpunk, yes. Famously, though, if you find it on PC, don't buy the PC version.
Oh, PC port was terrible.
Famously busted. The mechanics to test your blood to make sure you weren't infected just outright don't work.
So it's again like Cyberpunk 2077
you
without
can
any
get
of the
a
patches.
positive result on the blood test, and then 5 seconds later, the person you tested transforms into a monster and kills you. It's ridiculous.
All right. Moving right along. Number 5, worst game, movie tie-in. Alien Colonial Marines for the PS3 and the 360 came out in 2013. This game's hot trash. I was really looking forward to this game.
You were, I remember.
Because I really liked Alien versus Predator, which is one where you could play 3 different storylines. You could play as an alien, you could play as a colonial marine, or you could play as a predator. And this came out after that. I was like, great, another alien game that is fantastic. this is what we got. This buggy piece of shit. So this is supposed to be a sequel to the second film in the series, and the planet didn't blow up. It was the reactor blew up, but the planet survived. And another group of Marines went to find out what was going on, find aliens. It has atrocious AI. The aliens will sometimes just walk past you, like they were looking for keys in the dark or something, or they will just stand still and wait to be shot.
It's my kind of game.
Worse is the story where it has you fighting humans more than aliens. Go
Boring.
figure.
No, because the real monster are humans. Just like The Walking
The
Dead.
real
The
monster is
real
Captain.
zombies are
With
humans.
Yeah.
Humans are bad, everyone. Ooh, edgy.
I think this got made worse because it got a bit of hype and everyone was quite excited. It had a really cool collector's edition that came out with it as well.
Hype, always the killer.
Always the killer.
It's something Dan always used to say as well. Hype is a bad thing.
Yeah,
Just
I mean, it can
shadow
be.
drop everything.
It can be. It can be bad.
No, well, that's
not
why
always-
Nintendo.
it's not always bad.
That's why Nintendo do their Nintendo Directs now. Like when we last got that other one, it was like, oh, yeah, there's a Nintendo Direct tomorrow. See ya.
Yeah.
And they did that because they used to announce it a week ahead of time, and people got their expectations up. And then when those expectations, which had no basis, weren't met, they got their panties in a twist and started sending death threats to Nintendo. So Nintendo went, all right, you get like 20 hours notice. Screw you guys.
Yeah. Number 5 best game though, Ben. I reckon you played a bit of. Would you
just
like
unbelievable.
to chat about this one?
So yes, I did play this. I used to come home every day after school with one of my friends. We'd walk home from high school and we'd sit down and we'd play this bad boy, GoldenEye 007, complete with the dodgy Pierce Brosnan mouth on the cover.
Dodgy Pierce Brosnan mouth.
I'll just read what Floppy's written here. A decent campaign which followed the movie quite well. It did. But it was the way it revolutionized multiplayer shooters that made it
what it was.
Made it what it was. So that multiplayer was like put into the game 2 weeks before launch.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like it was, I think it was made by the devs so they could just mess around during downtime or whatever, and then they just put it in as a last thing. Last thing, everyone.
Last minute thing.
Also in there, but no longer being used, were character selects of all the Bonds, like Sean Connery, George Lazenby, and
Pierce
all of them were in
Brosnan.
them, but obviously they couldn't get the
I
rights.
almost said
because-
Dan Aykroyd.
That's a Pierce Brosnan I'd like. That's a Pierce Brosnan I'd like.
Jesus Christ.
We do the good. Back to your things. First appearance of scope rifles and multiplayer deathmatch. Clunky by today's standards. Yes, it is.
Very
it's
much.
awful to play. I
Don't
played
try
this-
it. Don't go back and try and play it.
So in order to strafe, you have to use the 4 yellow directional buttons.
Yeah.
And I got really good at it. I was one of these players who we played it so much on the... See, in Perfect Dark, it's called the Felicity, but it's the facility in GoldenEye. The spawn points, you use proximity mines in your multiplayer matches, and you go around and you just go to all the spawn points and put these proximity mines. So you kill someone, they go to a spawn, and then comes another spawn point, and you just kill them. And I used to think I was really, really good, and I wasn't.
Other people just thought you were an asshole.
Well, yeah, they were the right. It did have a very big impact on today's gaming. It still has a lot of fond memories. There was a remake on the Wii where you got a golden controller. That's trash. They tried to put modern day mechanics behind it. Just lost everything.
I didn't mind the campaign mode of it.
Yeah?
I didn't mind it, but it wasn't. It didn't have the. It didn't have the oomph that this one
Look, it's
had.
nostalgia. Like GoldenEye is purely a nostalgia juice game.
Yeah.
I love it. Who could forget the codes? DK mode, paintball mode. We used to play
Big head
paintball
mode?
Yeah, it was the DK mode.
That was DK.
Yeah. Amazing game. I can't say enough about it that I haven't said before. It was a great time for everyone.
Follow that up with a worse one that you probably played and you actually own. This is number 4 worst game.
The number one.
This is just for you, Floppy.
Number 4 worst game on floppy disk. I've got it in my hand here. It is Street Fighter, the movie, the game. So, what can be said about this?
Can I just jump in?
Yep.
This is a game made from a movie made from a game.
Yep. It's all kinds of meta. So this game came out. This was originally supposed to be Street Fighter 3.
Was it now?
It was, until they
Didn't know
realized
that.
how bad it was. So Street Fighter, the movie, the game, is Street Fighter, but using digitized characters from the stars of the movie rather than pixelated cartoon sprites. The result is awful.
Sit on his
Just
bicep.
awful.
It's funny how digitized actors worked so well in Mortal Kombat
Yep. Again,
when they used people who actually knew martial arts.
It's
and
the technology
didn't
as well.
work so well here.
Yeah, I think there was only 2 legitimate martial artists, one of which was Jean-Claude Van Damme, and he was coked out of his face.
He was either coked out of his brain or
in
so
Kylie Minogue.
far in Kylie Minogue.
Just going to throw it out there, though.
Just like Jean-Claude Van Damme did. Yep.
This movie / game is responsible for probably one of the most famous movie video game tie-in lines ever.
Which is?
Wait, am I thinking of the Chun-Li movie? It might be the Tuesday
No,
quote.
you're thinking of Raul Juul, where he talks to you. For you, the day Bison came to your town was the most impactful day of your life. For me, it was a Tuesday.
Yeah.
Raul Julia. For as
Julia.
trash
Raul
as this
Julia.
gift,
He's a gift.
For as bad as this film was, and him suffering from stomach cancer,
He
that
was
killed
dying.
him. He was dying while filming this, and
This was
he
his
went
last film.
full out for it.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. Dan Braden and I did a commentary to this. It's on our podcast feed somewhere. So you can actually queue it up and listen to us just rip crap on this awful, awful film. Yeah. Bad film. I didn't follow any of your notes here, Floppy. Sorry. But I had a lot to
Look,
say
it
about it.
had ridiculous overpowered combos, sloppy movement, wonky jumping, ugly special moves, not to mention messed up hitboxes. Like, there was no good points about it.
Awful game. And that's why I have it here in my collection.
It's a good, bad movie, bad game.
No, it's a bad
It's
movie.
a bad
as well.
movie too. Next one though, number 4, best game. This bad boy right here. Not this version, but this version's hard to play. Sorry.
That's right. For
X-Men
$2.
Origins Wolverine came out on the PS2, the PS3, the Xbox, the Wii, the DS, and the PSP. Came out in everything in 2009. It was released at the same time as Hugh Jackman's film. I think it's
Second
actually,
one, wasn't it?
It's not the
X-Men
second.
2?
It's not.
Oh,
No,
Wolverine
no,
Origins,
X-Men.
yeah.
Wolverine Origins
With the
yeah.
bad Deadpool.
Yes, with the bad Deadpool. Right. I actually think this is better than the film.
Well, it's not hard.
I mean, the film had great bits in it. It
No.
just had that shitty Deadpool.
No, it really didn't. Go back and look at the CGI of his adamantium claws. It's quite disgusting.
I know. But this game was fantastic. So it loosely followed that movie and then added a whole heap of stuff into it as well. It's a great hack and slash. It's got a well-told story. I think it's the best depiction in a video game and possibly out of most of the movies as well, as to how actual violent and how emotional Wolverine is. So when he loses it and goes full Wolverine, like he does that in this game and just rips...
Called a Berserker Rage.
Thank you. I was trying to make it sound more cool.
No, Berserker Rage.
Berserker Rage. When he goes full Berserker Rage, he will just rip monumentous amounts of people apart in this thing. Cars, trucks, planes, bridges full of natives. It is awesome. It is like the comic book has come to life with it and then added an R rating to it.
Nice.
It's really easy to control. The actual combat is really, really fluid. Similar to like the Batman stuff that they did years later, but not quite as good. Great graphics for the time. Had a Bioshock mutagen style upgrade system where you could upgrade your abilities and things like that and do cooler combos and cooler moves. And you had unlockable costumes that got you different costumes from the comics and the movies and stuff like that. A1 game. If you get it on anything, get it on the PS3. It's just going to look better. Play a bit nice. Awesome game. Awesome movie tie-in game.
Can't wait for, as We Are Robots said in the chat, the Insomniac's Wolverine game coming out not very soon.
Not very soon. It'll come out at some point in time, probably
It's
next
coming
year.
out.
No, I don't think it'll be there this year.
No.
Next year, maybe. Hopefully. Cross
At a
fingers.
stretch.
Number 3 worst game.
We don't talk about it.
Yeah,
Okay,
I can't
so
actually
that's
talk
number
about
two.
it. Number 2. Worst game number 3. Well done, Anto. Is Fight Club. Now, this was PS2 and OG Xbox, come out in 2004.
Why is
Oh, look,
Wolverine in it?
I know. That's the bartender guy, but it fully looks like Wolverine. Or a cheap version of Wolverine. I think that's supposed to be Jared Leto's character. So this, you play as an original character, fighting your way to be the right-hand man of Tyler Durden. It's buggy. It's got shitty graphics. It's got terrible controls. Worst thing about it, though, it is obviously a really quick cash grab based on a film that is about anti-consumerism.
No.
Yeah.
Video games would never do that.
But it's weird. So it is a really quick, thrown together, shitty made game to get cash based on a film that is all about not that at all.
Speaking of which, have you heard about the Chinese edit of Fight Club that they show?
No.
So
Is it just
doesn't-
3 scenes?
It doesn't show the end scene. instead of title comes up and it says Tyler Durden was apprehended by the authorities where he was taken to a blah, 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 and discovered he was wrong in what he did. He's now a model citizen of society. That's how it ends. This flashcard comes up instead of all the buildings blowing.
Can I say this game has one redeeming factor? There is an unlockable skin of Fred Durst from Limp Bizkit, whom you can then unlock, play as, and purposely lose and watch him get the shit kicked out of him. There you go.
Yep.
One redeeming factor.
I mean, the footage we're seeing just makes me think someone was told, hey, go make Tekken.
Yeah. And make it out of Fight Club. Yeah. Number 3, do you want to do number 3? Because you're all about this. Oh, as a special thing, we're going to unbox Ben's...
No, we're not. We've been through this. I've sworn at you many times. What I have in my little hands is the complete edition of the limited run version of Scott Pilgrim versus the World, the game. This game, my God, what a wonderful, wonderful experience this is. Originally, it came out on the 360 and I think the PS3 as a digital-only release. It was taken off the store due to rights.
2010?
Yeah, I believe so. I had it on there. Very heavily inspired by River City Rampage, which is an excellent series of games. Something that the creator of Scott Pilgrim, Brian Lee O'Malley, was also a huge fan of. He's a big fan of retro gaming because I think he's a little bit older than us. So grew up in that period.
Poor guy.
Yeah, I know, right? But yeah, everything about this game is fantastic. The 6-bit tunes by, what's the band?
Anamanaguchi.
Anamanaguchi. They did the soundtrack for it, based off the songs from the movie. Wonderful. Wonderful game. Cannot recommend it enough. Regular people who watch the show would have seen where we learnt about this, and we got all excited. We all made a pact to go and get the physical edition, and only Dan and I did. Like, Dan got the record with it, and I just got the complete edition, which I've left it sealed.
Refuses to open his so that I can see what's inside.
No, we can go on the internet and have a look what's
Floppy,
inside.
my copy at home is open. Next time you come over, just have a look at it.
Yeah.
Thanks, Anto.
Yeah, do that. That's what a real friend does. Now stay away from my shit. Anyway.
Do you know that it was only over the last few years that I found out that it was not the game first? I thought it was the game first.
Oh, really? No, it was a comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, sorry. I thought it was
Series of
game before the
novels.
movie.
Right.
I didn't realise the movie
Came out at the
first.
same time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great film as well.
Which is why it's become a movie tie-in.
It has. All right, what have we got next for?
Do you want to do number 2,
Oh,
worst?
do I have to?
Yes.
All right, number 2 worst, Catwoman. It's Halle Berry. She's scantily clad because, early 2000s. Yeah, whatever. Move on.
Can I just say, have you ever seen footage of this game?
I try to stay away from anything. So
It is, if you see gameplay footage, it is the worst.
I don't want to.
They literally, the climbing, look at that. That's a cutscene. They have spent all of their budget on making sure that her curves are okay and on nothing else. She refused to put her voice, like Halle Berry refused to put her voice towards this because she was already embarrassed enough about the film, which she went in person to accept her Razzie Award for.
Good on her.
Yeah, she owned it.
Good on
She
her.
owned how bad that film was. The movie is... the game is worse than the movie. And the movie was shocking.
I mean, this is just what happens when you take an IP and you make titillation the point of the product. Like, whatever, enjoy what you're going to enjoy, but at the same time, don't ruin other things by putting it where it's not necessary?
Yeah.
That's my life rule. Don't put it where it's not necessary. Get out of a lot of trouble.
Number 2 best game
Yes?
is The Chronicles of Riddick: Escape from Butcher Bay. This came out in the 360 and on Windows in 2003, and later on it was ported to PS3, I believe, as remastered edition with Dark Athena, I think it was called. This is a first-person shooter where Riddick must escape a prison using stealth and Riddick-style violence. So this is set as a prequel to Pitch Black. Mm-hmm. It is great. It is really well written. I think I might be wrong in this. I think Vin Diesel did the cameo in Tokyo Drift to get the rights to Riddick to be able to make this and to be able to make the next film. I think.
I'm not a fan of Vin Diesel.
You don't have to be. He's making enough money.
Yeah. I'm sure you'll sleep.
I really like the Riddick films. I really like the Fast and Furious films, but for different reasons. It says
You
really
really
good.
like bald men, right?
Some of them.
I get the subtweet.
This had great story writing in it. Like, it was a really good story. It was a great mix of first-person shooter. It was a great mix of stealth, getting to use your shined eyes and things like that to be able to see in the dark. Really enjoyable gameplay. I feel like it was a better game than the film that was brought out at the same time, which was the second Riddick film. Yeah, if you ever get a chance on 360, play this. Really solid, really well done. Made from Vin Diesel's production company.
Cool. All right, let's quickly roll through your honourable mentions.
So I've got some honourable mentions for the worst ones. Enter the Matrix, terrible. Thor, God of Thunder, rotten. Back to the Future from 1989.
I've actually got that game.
You shouldn't.
I'm a Back to the Future fan. Is that the one where Marty goes up against hamburgers?
I think so.
So you know the story behind
three
that?
copies of Fluoro.
Yeah, so the reason he went up against hamburgers is because the company who was made it was outsourced to I think a Chinese company, and they had no idea what Back to the Future was about. So they just put hamburgers attacking him.
What is this about? I don't know. Put hamburgers in it.
Yeah.
That's safe.
Yep. All right, honourable mention.
There is one other honourable mention, and this is one that is on every other worst game list. And I haven't included it on mine.
Oh.
So E.T. for the Atari. I didn't put
false.
it. I didn't. No, I'm going to tell you why.
Good.
I didn't put it on my worst game list. It's on every other worst game list. That was made by one guy who was given 5 weeks.
Yep. And it's not a bad game. Yeah, there's a bug in it where you can't get out.
He made a shitty game, but he made a game in 5 weeks.
Yep.
And it was released.
Yep.
Yeah, it was a shitty game. It was made in 5 weeks.
You want to play it? I've got it right over there.
I know. Ant's got it too. I didn't put it on this because I think all the games that are here have had actual proper development time and still produce shitty games.
Correct.
That dude had one guy, 5 weeks, made a game.
And he also made Yar's Revenge, so, back off.
Yeah. So I didn't put it in these. I put it as an honourable mention because, yes, it's a shitty game, but it didn't make this list for reasons. So the number one worst game, movie tie-in game. Charlie's Angels for the PS2 and the Gamecube.
Agreed.
It is horrible. This was actually slated to come out on Xbox and Windows, and I think...
And they went, no thanks.
No, Game Boy Advance.
This is the movie.
It got canned because it was so shit. What the hell happened listen, it has a bad plot. The graphics suck. Combat is shit. The enemies are rubbish. You can run into invisible walls because they didn't finish the game. So some of the areas you'll just hit apart, can't go there. And it's an open part of a room or something like that. They spend a tremendous amount of time in unnecessary bikinis as well because gross. Charlie's Angels. Don't do it.
All right, so what's the best part?
All right, honourable mentions for the best. You've heard me talk about Speed Racer. That's in there. Spider-Man 2 on the GameCube. Great game, but I think is overshadowed by the new one.
Yeah,
but not based
I think the new one wouldn't exist without that game.
Correct. Ghostbusters 2009, because that was written by Dan Aykroyd and Harold Ramis and his fantastic game. The Warriors, which was a PS2 prequel to the movie.
Come out and play.
Can you dig it? And Peter Jackson's King Kong, surprisingly, great game.
Really?
Yes.
I've seen this on GameCube so many times and purposely didn't buy it.
Buy it.
Oh, I'm going to have to.
It's actually good. It's actually good. But the number one best game, I've spoken about it a lot because we all know this is my list and my favourites are getting on there, is Alien Isolation on the PS4, Xbox One, 360 and PS3. I freaking love this game. I've talked about it heaps on the show. Every time it's on a deal, I breed it up to tell people to buy it. This was a benchmark in survival horror game. It takes place in between the first and second movie. Is canon. The alien and robots have this unique AI. They don't follow predetermined path. It is scary as shit. They learn from how you play the game. It has an amazing graphics. The production company got 3 terabytes of data from the crew that made the original film to design it.
No kidding, really?
Yes, yeah.
Oh,
Dude,
that's great.
This is unreal. And I've played this now on my new TV, and it looks phenomenal for a game that came out in 2014.
It actually looks really atmospheric.
This is the most atmospheric game I've ever played. They had a psychologist who deals with sound and how it scares you, or lack of sound, as a, what is it, when you work on a project? Anyway, working on the project, so that the sound terrifies you. They even have a mode that if you had a PS4 camera or an Xbox One Kinect, it listened to the room, and if you made too much noise, the alien could hear you and would come and get you.
Oh, man.
I found that out
Really?
hard
You
way.
could prank people playing by running into the room and being like, blah, 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 and it would come and find the person playing.
I was hiding
man.
in a cupboard for like 20 minutes, and the alien was prowling around the room outside me, and someone in the house came in the room and spoke. The thing turned around, ripped open the cupboard door, and just destroyed me.
That's amazing. Wow.
This game is atmospheric. It is great storytelling. It is survival horror at its best. Please play it.
Well, we've been Hack the Dino, and this is our gaming cast where we talk about the past, present, and future of video games. But that isn't all we do. Floppy.
Yes.
What else do you do?
No, not a hell of a lot.
No?
No, but one of the things I do is I occasionally, when I remember and find time and amongst my busy life, I throw things up on Instagram at Floppy Plays Games. You can see, lately it's been pickups, not so much things I've been playing.
Oh, I bet.
I had quite a few pickups over sort of the Christmas period.
Yeah, because we had that kind gentleman who was selling his entire collection, of which we all benefited from.
Yes, we did. So it's not what you know, it's who you know. I picked up a PSP Go in the box, which is working. I'm looking forward to having some fun with that.
You going to jailbreak it?
Of course I am.
Excellent.
Because the PSP store's shut.
Yep.
And it's a digital console.
Correct.
What the hell else am I going to do with it? I picked up some cool GameCube games. ZooCube. What a minty fresh game, that one. But also, another PSP. So I had quite the PSP finds. My Simpsons PSP game, some PS1 games, and some 360 and other stuff. So I've picked up some really cool stuff lately. Really happy. And I'm not going to be playing any of it because I've got Horizon Forbidden West.
Yay! Anto! Yeah, it's a podcast, buddy. You got to talk.
Yep.
What?
Yeah, you got to use that old word hole.
Where else can we find you, Anto?
You can find me at this place. Hang on.
Again, it's a podcast, buddy. You got to...
You got to say words.
Yeah, I know. I'm struggling because I'm tired. Leave me alone.
He does work ridiculous
You can
hours.
find me over on Instagram at yoitsanto. I do basically what Floppy does. I occasionally remember that I buy things, and also post stuff about anti-NFTs and crypto because I think it's all BS that's going to kill the planet.
Absolutely it is. It's 100% the world's biggest scam.
Look at that minty fresh copy of Final Fantasy VII. How many of those have you got now?
I have 2 Black Label releases. This one is the nicer looking of them.
Nice.
I've also got the Platinum release, which is Coda's copy, but we've merged our collections together. Hang on. There I go. I've also got the Japanese release of the original Japanese release, which didn't have the super bosses. And I've got an international release, which has the limited Advent Children art on the discs themselves.
Do you have the PC release?
Yes.
The big box?
At home, somewhere in a big box.
Yep. King Kaiju had one.
So I
that he
think
was
I
selling.
have, hang on, 6 physical copies. And I also own it digitally on PSP, PS3,
you have a physical
PS4,
copy?
Switch. Yeah, I just like Final Fantasy VII.
Do you have a physical copy, Ben?
Of what?
Final Fantasy VII.
No, I only like good games.
I feel like... I feel like knowing what this is worth to the video game industry, you could possibly swap a double of your Final Fantasy VII for, I don't know, maybe a DS.
No, he couldn't. He really couldn't. It's impossible. There's no way to do it. No way to do it. But one thing you can do is head on over to Bad Game Arts. That's Bad Game Art with an S on the end because Bad Game Art was taken. Where I put up some of the worst video game art that the world has ever seen. And being a video game historical person, I like to preserve the things that are really, really important. So let's start with our friend Ryu there. This is a statue that's coming out very, very soon.
Has he got 8 people's muscles in his arm?
Yep, they're just making up muscles now for him. Look at his arm. Look at his arm.
It looks like a tied up turkey.
It looks like a bread roll's got stuck up there.
That dude's like really...
What is that?
He's just injecting carbs
Sure,
now?
these muscles?
Don't exist.
No, like the only time you'll see this ever is if you see people injecting synthol into their arms.
Yeah, incorrectly. It's a muscle on top of a muscle. So you can buy that statue if you like and look at the horrendous nature.
That
The
is
next
gross.
piece of art that I have got up there is, of course, this is the most flagrant disregard of false game advertising I've ever seen. It's the Atari game that you've got there, Anto. 3D tic-tac-toe, which depicts for our podcast listeners, of course, if you head on over to Bad Game Arts on Instagram, you can see this. A young child with a space dog wearing Astro helmets playing 4 levels of tic-tac-toe against a robot. But that isn't the most offensive thing in this picture.
Why?
No, the most offensive thing is that robot's left arm. Look at that thing. What is going on with that left arm?
Is it broken?
I don't know if it's broken. I don't know if he's just like... it's a small thing. It's a small arm. It's disproportionate. And I'm personally insulted by it. And Atari owes me money
Wow.
for looking at that.
That's pretty bad.
You know what's not bad? I found the coolest guy in the world.
Joe Blade.
His name's Joe Blade. He's got his name is the logo, Joe Blade, and it's got bullet holes in it. It's got a freaking dagger sticking out the top of it. He's running through a medieval castle with his big ass shotgun with the longest freaking turret I've ever seen, firing at this green blob. His sleeves are rolled up. He's ready for fucking action. This guy. Good old Joe Blade's gonna come and mess you up. Freaking Joe Blade on the spectrum, everyone.
I met a guy with a really cool name.
Was it Joe Blade?
No, it was Chad. It was Chad King.
Douchey name. And there's no Joe Blade. And finally,
What the hell is that?
Pajama armor for the 48K ZX Spectrum, or as I've put it, oh look, someone vomited. This is quite possibly the worst art I've ever seen. I think my daughter, when she was 5 years old, drew something a lot more impressive than this. It depicts an old man, I guess you'd call it, with 3 pupils, sitting down, having his way with, I think, a cabbage in a raincoat. I'm not sure what's going on here.
Have you never had your way with a cabbage and raincoat?
No,
Well,
no,
mate,
I
you
can't
are
say I have.
missing out.
Well, you know, there's things I just don't. Fuck this art. Like, it's hurting my eyes.
Can I say
it's
from
pretty
this?
bad.
Sorry, from this angle, there's a camera in front of us which blocks my view of the television or a part of it.
Mm-hmm.
So when I do this, I can see that that's a chair leg or a table leg.
Mm-hmm.
From my view here, it looks like a person's leg, and it looks like the rocket is shooting out of a groin.
It is. It could be. I don't know. The art's so bad, I can't tell what the F is going on.
We Are Robots just asked, is this Sonic's dad? Oh, that's good.
Well, it explains the shoes, doesn't it? Anyway, we've been Hack the Dino. This has been our gaming cast. Please head on over to hackthedino.com and follow everything that we do. And then we'll follow you and everything you do. Every breath you take, every step you make, every child you fake. What?
You.
What? Jeez.